What is going on, guys? AutoStocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Today, we got a lot of stuff to cover, but what is happening with GameStop? GameStop is up about 13% on the day, and I know you guys want to know, is it time? Is this what we have been waiting for? And before we get into the video, all I ask you guys to do in return, of course, is to hit the like button. Also, my apologies that the video is going up a little bit later than usual. I had a haircut appointment at noon today, and then I was about to leave, and my barber ended up canceling. Something came up, so that was pretty bothering, but we are here to make a video. It would have been up a lot later if I did go to the appointment. Overall, just a busy week, but we're here to cover the market. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Our GameStop's latest shorts running to cover before the earnings. Next Wednesday, GameStop is reporting earnings, and of course it is expected to beat. GameStop has been climbing over the previous earnings, and is this a time for short sellers to start getting out, right? One short seller covers, then a next, then a next, then a next. But we know that if one domino falls, they are just going to suppress it with fake shares or tokens, etc., which is going to lead me into my point. But before we get into my point, more than 13,000 $20 calls for December 8th have been purchased so far this morning for GameStop. Be very, very careful if you're purchasing calls on GameStop. I know some people in Discord are purchasing calls, and that is perfectly fine. I just want to let you guys know what I am going to be doing, and it's not this, and I'm going to explain why, but that's pretty deep out of the money to jump into $20 calls for one, and could be a nasty payout if we do start running. But once again, the infamous CEOs, Adam Aaron does this, Ryan Cohen does this, plenty of CEOs do this. Ryan Cohen dropped a tweet. How often does this guy tweet? Not insanely often, at least from what I've seen, right? I could be completely wrong, but he tweets overpaid executives, okay? AMC is selling off, GameStop is climbing, and he tweets overpaid executives. Oh my gosh, this kitten won't leave me alone. Take a look. My sister's kitten right here. Very cute, very adorable. But I need to pay attention to the video, okay? He tweets overpaid executives. Is he coming at Adam Aaron? He commented that talk is cheap, money buys blank. And he commented specifically under Pult's tweet. And Pult is somebody who is an avid GameStop member. He would basically vouch that GameStop is going to squeeze, right? GameStop is going to have a nasty squeeze. GameStop is a great company. And Ryan Cohen tweeted back at him saying overpaid executives. Okay, however you want to take that, take it with a grain of salt, but he could be coming at Adam Aaron. Come on, man. Now I want to touch on the charts and show you guys what I am doing and what I am looking at with GameStop. It's trading at $13.28, up 11.5% currently as we are talking, but it was up almost 13% on the day. And everyone is asking, what is happening with GameStop? Take a look at this. You're not going to believe it, right? This is what I have drawn out. We have been talking about GameStop coming down to $10.10. Came, broke below this trend line, right? Got the dip, and then got this nasty pop up to that resistance level right around $13.45. Got rejected, right? It flashed above it, but got rejected ultimately at the macro trend line, the yellow trend line that we have drawn out. Guys, we do have good volume. That's the one thing I will say. The one thing that is making me think, maybe the ones purchasing calls are going to be right. Maybe GameStop is about to rip extremely high, right? However, this is the same thing we saw back here, okay? September 28th of 2023. Coming in this descending channel, got this random leg up, and guess what? This leg up was about 12.5% on the day. We went up about 12.5% on the day from the recent low, right, that we've been tracking, from the recent low that this ripped off of to the next low that it hit, down 14%. From this low to the low we're tracking, $10.10, right in that region, 14%. This you cannot make up. Algorithms are basically here, and they're easy to track at this point. I would be very, very skeptical at jumping in calls on GameStop, and I actually added more puts. Now, I will be extremely happy whether this plays out either way. The reason for that is because I will make well more on my shares, right, when it climbs than I would if it sold off a little bit on my puts, right? I'm still in it for a long-term squeeze. I just assumed we are a little bit away, and when I touch on AMC's chart in a minute, you'll know what I mean by that. GameStop, 90,000 shares available to borrow. Calls expiring in the money, 7,000 compared to basically no puts, and 23,000 calls expiring out of the money. So we may be exiting the gamma ramp to the downside and entering a gamma ramp to the upside with the options chain for GameStop also looking well. But take a look at this. As soon as we scale up, volume picks up, short exempts stack higher. So don't be surprised if short exempts today are above 10K for GameStop because of this nasty pop. AMC, this is what we're tracking. We got this leg up. We got the second peak. And if you take a look at AMC right now, chop trade, leg up, second peak. And from the second peak, just like the last one, right? From the second peak over here, 41 to 42 days before we hit that all-time low and then started scaling higher. With that being said, tracks perfectly to what we have drawn out. This flash down, hitting that real low or a little bit later, right? Hitting that real low right around December 20th, which is exactly what I'm looking at, and then coming into January, getting that squeeze. I've talked about it time and time again. Cycles drop at least 50% when it's put through an entire cycle. This is going to be the last one. We are going to squeeze, or you guys get the other side of it. So make sure to watch my videos because I'm here to tell you the truth. I think we are going to squeeze. I'm not going to say we are going to get delisted and this thing we're just going to lose. I think there's way too much of a movement here. AMC, 4.2 million shares available to borrow. Short exempt volume, 80,000, up from 60,000. Still pretty low for AMC. Call to put ratio, 2,000 compared to 13,000 expiring in the money. And a lot more people are betting calls that are expiring out of the money. So that premium is going to market makers as well. Now it's time to touch on some data. Okay, over on Fintel, you saw a jump in short interest of over 2% overnight on AMC. So shorts are shorting it back to the downside. According to Ortex, 10.84% short interest. We know it is much higher. When GameStop was reported back in January, it was about 40% reported, I believe, and it was actually over 140% shorted. Now, the SEC has adopted a financial crisis-inspired rule barring traders and asset-backed securities from betting against the same assets they sell to investors. Now, stay with me, guys, if you guys are falling out of the video. We covered AMC and GameStop's chart, but we have a lot more stuff to cover, and the overall market is going to affect it. But basically, right now, the SEC has just adopted a rule, basically making anyone who trades asset-backed securities not be able to short the same securities that they are selling to investors. Why this rule exists now, I have absolutely no idea, but Gary Gensler stated that this rule is relevant to a market that played a significant role in the 2008 financial crisis. With that being said, drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and we do have to touch on the overall market. One last thing with banks. Banks for International Settlements has released the updated list of global systematically important banks. The total number of them are down to 29, so -1 with the removal of Credit Suisse and UniCredit and an addition of Bank of Communications. But you can see down here in the number 2 bucket, UBS, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, Bank of America, Citigroup, HSBC, all of which we have been talking about are not doing too solid. Now, the bubble is bad. Okay, the bubble is really bad. And before we jump into the overall market, if you guys want a quick break, jump in the Discord. The link is right under the video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we do have options trading alerts in there. I'm in there on the daily. We talk stocks all day long. We post gains, post losses, and overall, just the best vibes. Whether you're a beginner or advanced trader, this is the place to go. The link is in the top of the description or pinned in the top comments. Get in before Christmas and get your free stocks, most importantly. If you know another broker that gives you more benefits than Mumu, you let me know in the comments down below. But if you use my link and sign up and make a deposit, you will start earning benefits. The more you deposit, the more benefits you get. 5.1% APY on your uninvested cash, up to 15 free stocks, each valued up to $2,000 per stock. And if you transfer stocks in there, you're getting a $400 cash reward bonus. Overall, extremely good platform to use. Free level 2 order book data, access to trading options, going long, going short, and more, all for free. Again, those links I will pin in the comment section if you guys want to go down there, or I will leave them in the top of the description. Now, you can't make this up. The S&P 7, also known as the 7 largest tech stocks in the S&P 500, is up a massive 80% in 2023. But the S&P 500, 493, or the remaining 493 companies in the S&P 500 is up only 4%. So guys, basically the S&P 500 is being held up by the S&P 7, which are the largest tech stocks in the S&P 500, which means if the largest tech stocks end up, getting a little bit of a correction, the S&P 500 may not look too hot, to say the least, which is very, very dangerous for the market that we're in. But Deutsche Bank and other banks like Bank of America still see the SPY hitting over 5,000 by the end of the year or by the end of next year. I was trading at 456, up 0.33% on the day, and I ended up cutting my losses on those puts I grabbed last night for about a 43% loss or so. I don't feel like riding it out. The SPY at this point Hard to tell if it's going to just keep pumping or if it's going to retrace. The safest bet, again, like I said, is to just wait for the retrace and then get back in, which I avoided the rules because I saw a little bit of weakness yesterday in the chart. However, where we're trading at right now, we can finally take out this aggressive trend line. It doesn't really mean anything for the SPY. The previous September, October cycles, there were some that had a retracement and there were some that just continued to rip. And I think the SPY is just setting up for a continuation. However, if we break out of this channel, which we are right now, this macro trend line, and build a full daily candle off of it, be very, very skeptical once we touch 460. If we touch 460 and we break back in the macro trend line, expect a retracement. If we bounce off of it, expect the SPY to keep ripping. That is basically the level I'm looking at right now. As far as pullbacks, we don't really have to watch specific levels, but if I'm not here to make a video and it decides it wants to basically flush, watch 446.50, and then the gap fill down to around 441. Now, a few stocks to put on your watch list that are starting to scale up, in which I do own all three of: Mara, Riot, and TMF. We have talked about these stocks on the channel. If you guys are in them, let me know in the comments down below. But with the bull run coming in crypto, Mara and Riot are going to do extremely well, and they are doing extremely well. I said in yesterday's video or the video before that Mara is starting to break out, and since then it is up over 15%. TMF, longer term play, has been scaling up, digging me out of the hole from where I purchased at, right? I'd rather get in early than get in late. Riot moving with Mara a little bit slower. Let me know in the comments if you guys do have these stocks. And finally, the Tesla trade. Where are we at? My calls are positive once again on the Tesla trade. This trade has been whipsaw, up 2.82%, trading at 242.68. We expected Tesla to get a retracement. If we still get that retracement, again, watch the gap fill right around 224.50 or coming down even lower. But even still, this is a longer term play. I think Tesla, right, is going to reach its peak in March of 2024, a brand new all-time high. That is my outlook on Tesla, and I'm going to be playing that. I'm going to be putting my money where my mouth is. Overall, not looking bad, okay? Tesla looking decent. If you're still in the trade with me, let me know. And finally, to close out the video, the IPO market is back. All this came out in the last hour. Kim Kardashian in talks to take Skims public at $4 billion as soon as next year. Reddit to go public as soon as next quarter at $15 billion, and China-based Shein has just confidentially filed for $90 billion IPO. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. I will have a sponsored stock going up in pre-market tomorrow morning, so make sure to tune in so you guys can get into that stock early. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but that is what I got for you guys for today's video. I love you. Peace.